Howdy y'all, I'm back to talk about another excellent game. This time provided by the wonderful people at Trigger Happy Interactive, Apogee, and through Keymailer. We're gonna do another deep dive and review. Let's kick it into overdrive! Let's go! Developed by Trigger Happy and published by Apogee, Turbo Overkill is a modern boomer shooter. Set in a cyberpunk setting, it combines modern movement techniques with old school graphics and lots of gore. All ridiculousness aside, well, most ridiculousness, because this game is pretty ridiculous after all. Turbo Overkill released originally in August of 2023 on PC. The trailers for this game looked amazing, and I was super excited. Bought it within a couple days of release on Steam. Here's the receipt for that if you want to see it. My computer, however, is a really old laptop, and it didn't run it very well. Ran at like 5 frames per second. But I tried it out on the Steam Deck. It ran beautifully on the Steam Deck. The only issue I have with the deck is the layout, like the screen in the center, controllers on the side. Kind of makes me feel like I got hams for hands, like meat hooks, you know, can't really turn fast enough, can't really shoot fast enough. Same thing with the Nintendo Switch. I love those consoles, but it's not the best experience for a first-person shooter, especially a fast-paced one like this one. So I waited for a proper console release. After waiting nearly a year and a half, it finally released on all consoles, including the Nintendo Switch, on January 29th, 2025. And man, it was worth the wait. So now let's get into the good part, the actual review itself. There are so many good topics to cover, so many great things about the game. The movement is awesome, the shooting is pristine, and the gore is amazing. But there's also a few shortcomings. So we're gonna break it down piece by piece. We'll start with weapons, and then we'll move on to achievements, and then we'll just talk about the good and the bad, even though it's mostly good. So let's start with the weapons. You're gonna kick things off in Turbo Overkill with the dual wielding pistols, and you're holding them sideways, so you know you're going for that kill shot. The vanilla dual wielding pistols are probably C or D tier rated. They aren't very effective, but they do cause a little bit of carnage, especially on the less armored enemies. However, you are going to unlock upgrades as you progress, and the first upgrade you unlock for the dual wielding pistols is going to be a lock-on mechanism. Once you jump on in, saw some dudes, you're going to use a single pistol to lock on to up to 5 different enemies. Release it for a single shot to the engine block, taking out the lower level dudes in one single shot. Doesn't work as well on the larger enemies, but it's super useful for clearing out a group of dudes or some turrets from afar. While it may not be effective damage-wise against larger enemies, occasionally it will stagger them, opening them up for an easier kill. The third and final upgrade for the dual-wielding pistols is the overcharge shot. This overcharge shot deals 1000 damage to enemies and is capable of taking out even the toughest of your enemies in 1 or 2 shots. The best way to maximize the efficacy of the dual-wielding pistols is, hold on, fuck you meat hooks, those are strong as shit, is to build up momentum and charge with the primary fire. Then you're gonna get that overcharged shot, and you're gonna deal devastating damage to your enemies. 1000 damage is nothing to scoff at. Now be careful though, if you miss even a single shot with the overcharged bullet, you're gonna lose that charge, and you're gonna have to build that momentum all the way back up. Overall, I would give the dual wielding pistols a B+ or even an A- rating. Man, that overcharged shot is devastating, but you don't unlock it until later in the game, and it takes a little too long to build up that momentum to get it. Next weapon, the shotgun. Boom, baby! Very early in the game, you're gonna unlock this devastating beast. It's a shotgun, and it has some cool cyberpunk name, but I completely forgot what the name of it was, so we're just gonna go with shotgun. It works like any good shotgun would. Up close, you're gonna cause some devastating damage, especially to the lower tier enemies. It also has an awesome upgrade. 1, 2, 3, hasta la vista, baby. Speaking of upgrades, you're gonna charge it up 3 times for maximum effectiveness, and you're gonna unleash a huge explosion on your enemies. A fully charged shot for you 3 pump chumps is gonna bring you maximum efficiency, taking out those dudes with an explosive bang. The charged shotgun blast has an explosive area of effect that instantly gives the lesser enemies. Cannon fodder goes bye-bye. Later in the game, you're gonna come across shielded enemies, and a single charged shot is gonna cause a chain reaction and explode them all. Definitely the most effective way of taking them out. The third and final upgrade for the shotgun is gonna add damage and tighten that spread, so you can float around in space, charge up some shots, and cause a lot of floating gore. Bleh. Bye-bye, bitches. And thanks for the ammo. Like I said before, you get the shotgun very early on, and it's one of the best weapons in the game. Overall, I'd give it an A+ rating. The ammo was readily available throughout the game. The charged shot will trip up larger enemies and instantly give a group of smaller cannon fodder. Click, click, boom, baby. Who wants some rapid fire action now? Give me better guns! Alright, motherfucker. How about some dual-wielding cyberpunk Uzis? Devastating damage up close, bullets in your fucking face. What about long range? Well, how about you throw away one of them Uzis and you get a single one that works effectively at long range. Introducing the first upgrade for the dual-wielding Uzis is the long range fire. And man, is it effective. Pinpoint accuracy, damage from afar. If you need me to slow things down for you, the Uzi is an amazing weapon. The third and final upgrade brings more damage and a scope that's used for, well, aesthetic purposes, but it's still super effective at long range gunning. Matching the level of the shotgun, the dual-wielding Uzis are also one of the best weapons in the game, and I'm gonna give them an overall rating of A+. Tired of shooting up close? Why don't you throw that gun at your enemy, knock him down, and hit him with some devastating fire. Don't worry about discarding Uzis though. Johnny Turbo keeps an extra stock in his asshole. Junk in the trunk, baby, and he can whip him out anytime and light up your night. But I don't like the shotgun or the Uzis. How about 2 barrels of Mucho Dolor? Up close, the super shotgun does a lot of damage. From afar, not so much, but luckily you got a secondary fire that attaches to enemies and can cause some serious carnage. One of the cool things about the secondary shot is it bounces off walls and sticks to enemies, so you can do some cool trick shots, like bouncing it off the side of an aquarium and blowing up your enemy. The third upgrade you unlock for the super shotgun ignites pellets that aren't direct hits on enemies, so you can light some dudes on fire. Overall, this is a C-tier weapon. Why is that? Because the reload time is too long and the damage is not quite enough. It's best used as a cleanup weapon. It looks cool, it sounds cool, it just needs a buff to damage. We did pistols, we did Uzis, we did shotguns. Let's talk about a fucking minigun. Light 'em up, baby, and watch 'em cook. The minigun sends a volley of hot lead downrange to chew up your enemies and spit them out. Want a secondary fire? How about a frickin' flamethrower? Line them up like a barbecue, baby, then switch back over to your primary fire and chew them up. Eat lead, motherfucker! Ah! You can't hide from my justice. Goodbye! Overall, the minigun is a C-tier weapon. The flamethrower is cool and cooks your enemies alive, letting them take some damage over time. But the primary fire is made redundant by the dual Uzis, therefore making the minigun
a less priority to use.
But what happens if you run out of all ammo?
Easy peasy, ride on in with your chainsaw leg and chop them to bits. You got unlimited ammo with your leg that turns into a chainsaw. Not only does it give you momentum to get moving, it also works to cut up your enemy and slice and dice them into 1,000 little pieces. There we go, right into a group of them. Cash money, baby. The momentum from the chainsaw slide is amazing for movement and maneuverability. You can also unlock augments that grant you health and armor when you plow through your enemies, especially going down the bowling alley. Strike, baby! Turbo Overkill at its core is a movement shooter. Grapple your way, slide your way, and dash your way to enemies and give them some hell. Fuck you, Snake Dude! Oh, you're not dead? Okay, time to cut the head off the snake, baby! What just happened? Let's go back and take a look. We're gonna cut the head off the snake, baby! Even though some of these weapons are better than others, the best way to play Turbo Overkill is to maneuver and shoot, change weapons, charge up a shot, hit them, chop them, then switch weapons again, get them that bank shot, baby, stick a dynamite to their core and blow them up. Shoot, move, communicate with bullets anyway, and kill. That is how Johnny Turbo deals with the streets, baby! Bah! Let's just take a moment to appreciate the fluidity of movement, the fluidity of shooting, and the fluidity of gives and gore as you slice and dice your way through enemies. Yeah, what is that? Is that a rocket launcher? We didn't cover the rocket launcher? Yes, there's a rocket launcher. Good for causing some supreme carnage and some blood and gore, especially on the lower tier enemies. I just turned your buddies into pink mist. Now I'm gonna chew you up with my Uzis. Oh yeah. Anyway, the rocket launcher, you can unlock a secondary fire as well. This one charges up a few rockets at a time, I think up to 4 or 5, until you unleash a torrent of rocket hell on your enemies. The rocket launcher overall is a B tier weapon. It's very effective, especially when you charge up them shots, but it's not quite effective enough. As you can see, both these robots are still standing, and I gotta bust out my Uzi to take them out. Bye-bye. Then you have the plasma gun, which I honestly barely use except to unlock achievements, and that right there isn't even the right secondary fire to unlock that achievement, so I barely used it, but it's a D tier weapon. A tier weapon to S tier. You got yourself the micro missiles, causes a lot of damage, and you get to shoot the bird at your enemy as you unleash rocket hell on them. With the micro missiles, you can lock on to several different enemies in order to cause maximum devastation. Also, you can unlock an augment, which causes cluster bombs. And look at that napalm cloud, baby, they're cooked. Oh, except for this guy. Time to take him out. Uzi, baby! Oh, it's not working. Let's bust it. Oh, is that a sniper rifle? Charging a shot? Oh, cascade of blood, baby! This is the Telefrag sniper rifle. You can use it to lock on to lower level enemies and instantly teleport yourself inside of the enemy, ripping them apart from the inside out. Overall, the Telefrag sniper rifle is a high C to low B tier weapon. And no, we're not talking about high C the drink, we're talking about C grade. Got some plenty good uses, but not quite good enough. Oh man, I'm fucking hungry. Here we go, we can't even hit this cockroach knight. I call him a cockroach knight because he's moving around like a cockroach and my shots are just missing him. I got something for you, buddy. It's called the ion rifle and it's the S tier weapon of the game. This is the secondary fire, sets up an area of effect, lights down a beam from the sky and annihilates your enemies. Got an annoying enemy that has shields for others? Hi hiding behind a wall? No problem. Bust out that ion rifle, set the target to right above his head, and light him up from the sky. Death from above, he's got nowhere to hide. The final weapon of the game is the chainsaw arms, and you're gonna rip and tear. Can I say rip and tear? I don't care. You're gonna rip and tear through your enemies with quadruple wielding chainsaws, baby! Maximum carnage, maximum blood, maximum gore. Just make sure you hit that in time so you don't die. They're strong, but they leave you very vulnerable, so we're gonna give it a C tier.
Alright, now that we're done with the weapons, we're gonna go over some other stuff that make this game amazing. There are some weapons that are better than others, but overall using all of the weapons in combination or alternating between them is the best way to play it, and it makes this game really fun. That and the movement, moving around, running on walls. It's only certain walls, but you can still run on walls and jumping and sliding and shooting. It's just super smooth, buttery smooth action, and it's really fun to play. The achievements and trophies in Turbo Overkill are awesome, and some of them actually take serious skill in order to obtain. This one's one of the easier ones, and you're going to use the Waster. That's the name of the Cyberpunk shotgun. You're going to use it to eliminate 8 enemies with a single explosive shot.
Another achievement has you eliminating Jazz, one of the bounty hunters with toxic slime. In order to do so, you're going to have to shoot the trigger mechanism below the bilge pump in order to get it started. And you need a weapon that's precise and accurate. Perfect for that secondary fire of the Uzi. Take him out from a long range and time it right.
After you kill Jazz, you unlock Turbo Time, which allows you to slow down time around you. There's an achievement to kill 25 or more enemies in a single use of Turbo Time, so head back to the apartment level in the first chapter and go to this ambush site. Watch out for those explosive barrels. If you get too close, they will kill you. And then you just go to town and kill those 25 dudes. There's also a similar achievement that has you killing 15 or more enemies with a single beam of the ion rifle. You can use the primary fire and hold it down, or you can use the secondary fire and light that giant beam from the sky in order to kill them all in an area of effect blast. Both ways work fine. Turbo Time helps because it also increases your damage. Now, if you want to be smart about it, you can combine the two achievements. Go to that first place where you got ambush, bust out the ion rifle, enter Turbo Time, and just go to town holding down that primary fire. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, cash money in the bank. You got 2 achievements in one.
There's also a challenge to eliminate the final boss of the first chapter in under a minute. I saw some recommendations to enter Turbo Time and go to town, but I found the ion cannon to be the most devastating and effective way of dealing with Artifact Zero. Look at that absolute destruction and devastation. Killed in under 30 seconds. Now remember how we said the plasma gun was useful for a couple achievements? Here's one of them. It's to kill the cockroach knight with his own flail. And to do that, you'll need to use the secondary fire. Be warned though, the automatic secondary fire is going to be a beam, so you have to press a button. You actually go to the menu and it'll tell you which button to press in order to switch over to that alternate secondary fire and sling the flail back at the cockroach knight in order to effectively get this achievement. I would get his health down first. There's another achievement using the plasma gun to catch a rocket and send it down to kill a group of 5 or more enemies. Pretty simple to do. You gotta find a wide open space, shoot it upward, enter Turbo Time in order to grab it effectively, and then pull it down and kill some enemies. I would watch that blast radius though, because it is gonna hurt you. Luckily, Turbo Time gives you health and armor upon killing enemies. There's also several missable achievements. One of them is to get taunted by Ma here at this hidden splicing machine. Now, all you gotta do is approach him and shoot him a couple times. Did feel pretty good to kill Ma with a single shot, even though it's just like a hologram thing, but wish it was this easy to kill him throughout the game. There's another achievement that has you eliminating a corrupt splicing machine, and it's easy to find. I tried shooting the machine a few times, didn't do anything, but as soon as you try to leave the area, it's going to enter a lockdown mode and you have to fight the dude. Pretty tough. Easiest way to take him out, enter Turbo Time, use that secondary fire and the ion beam, and it's going to take him out in a single blow. And then he's gonna ignite, go electrical, and end up exploding, taking out some enemies and damaging you if you're not careful. Then you just gotta finish off those enemies and you can leave. Bam, achievement completed. Now, just to show you how effective and how powerful Turbo Time is, same fire, the secondary fire barely does any damage to him. And fast forward a little bit just to see how many shots it takes to finish him off, just to demonstrate how much more damage you do when you enter Turbo Time. Now you want to see some absolute devastation? Pick up one of those damage upgrades and then enter Turbo Time. Talk about overkill, baby. Bam, Turbo Time entered. Like 5 or 6 shots to take out one of those huge mecha dudes. Normally, these dudes take upward of 30 seconds or more to kill. A lot of dodging, and they damage you pretty intensely. But with a damage upgrade in Turbo Time, no sweat. If you're having trouble finding it, here's the location of that arcade. Just a single shot will take it out, and you'll get the achievement easy peasy. And finally, another easily missable achievement that I got is called Skill Issue, and I'm fast forwarding time just because this took forever. But you're gonna only use your chainsaws to kill Ma and his minions in this arena. Now you're gonna have to slide a lot to build up those chainsaws, and in order to use it. And that's what my main complaint with the chainsaw arms is, just building them up takes forever. You just gotta slice through enemies, and damaging will do it, but it just takes, like, every time you slide through it, it only builds up 2%. So you gotta hit them like 50 times and dodge a lot, and leaves you vulnerable. Now, if you want some extra challenging achievements that I wasn't able to get, there's this one where you have to avoid damage in a level called Infestation while you're flying the vehicle. I was not able to do so in my first run. I'm sure if I practice at it, I would be able to get it down, but the levels are so long, I didn't feel like going back. A few more are to kill one of the bounty hunters in less than 5 minutes, and then complete a level on the second hardest difficulty without dying. I got absolutely annihilated trying to do that, and the boss was just too much of a pain in the ass to get to. Now, there's also another achievement I didn't get. You saw that, all those maneuvering, dodging, all those things. It's to avoid taking damage while fighting Ma in this gladiatorial arena. I was not able to do that even on the easiest mode. I actually had to go back, play through on the easiest mode just to see how to beat him, and then I was able to come back and do it on my normal or street sweeper mode and beat him in order to get the achievement to complete the game on that difficulty level. While I was not the biggest fan of the flying car levels, I didn't like the controls. They felt clunky. This mecha level was awesome. Using the suit was kick-ass. Felt like a tank just plowing through enemies and taking them out. Now, all these praises aside, this game does have some minor issues, minor discrepancies. Occasionally you'll run into enemies that are glitched out and hanging out there. They'll disappear when you get too close. Also, they'll get stuck in the geometry occasionally, and sometimes you'll get stuck in the geometry. There was one of the final bosses, I kept getting stuck on a ramp, and it was pissing me off. Also, right here, I hate invisible barriers. They make me mad. This is where you came in. I just kind of found it frustrating that I couldn't go back through.
One of the more consistent issues I experienced, especially later in the game, had to do with cycling through weapons. Normally, you're able to cycle through your entire arsenal quickly and in real time by pressing left or right on the D-pad. However, I was occasionally locked out or locked into a certain set of 4 weapons and unable to cycle to the other set without opening up the radio menu and slowing down time, and I didn't like that. I also experienced 2 crashes during this game, but I believe they were more related to quick resume than the actual game itself.
You also cannot remap the controls on the controller, so you have to adapt to it. I was able to do so, but I just found it a little bit frustrating that I couldn't customize it the way I wanted to. Also, the levels are super long, makes it feel like it's not worth it to go back and get those achievements. And then some of the achievements, like avoiding damage when you're fighting Ma, feels like it was more designed for PC, but that's just me complaining. Now, with all my complaints and minor discrepancies aside, this is an absolutely fantastic game and I highly recommend it. Fuck you, Cockroach Knights. The movement is sublime, the shooting feels amazing, The graphics are pristine, makes it feel like one of those old boomer shooters with new school movement, and it integrates those concepts so perfectly. Oh man, I can't rave enough on how seamless the integration of shooting and movement is with this game. If you love first-person shooters, I highly recommend picking this game up. Shit, pick it up on Xbox, pick it up on Switch, pick it up on PC, pick it up on PS5, doesn't matter. If you love shooters, get this game. Overall, I'm gonna give it an 8.75. Fuck it, we're gonna round it up to 9. I'm gonna give this goddamn game a 9 out of 10.
Thanks for watching, and adios, motherfuckers!